So the Switch,
Yeah.
as of this recording, it comes out 1 week from today.
Cool.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, this will get posted. Still, it won't quite be out yet.
And if you're watching this on YouTube and you live in the Nashville area, leave a comment below because we would love to hang out at your place if you're buying a Switch.
Sure, I'd love to try it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm not getting one, at least not immediately.
Oh yeah, there's so many toys that I've
Yeah.
bought recently and so many toys that I intend to buy that
So it's going to come with 32 gigs of internal memory.
Okay.
It's not bad considering it is a tablet.
So you're looking at an iPhone with an upgrade.
Right. And these are some of the initial sizes of games. I'm going to go through them here. So Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, if these are the size of the digital games if you choose to download rather than get the game cards. By the way, side note, the game cards will not require an additional install onto the system.
Okay.
So if you just go straight physical, you won't need to worry about expanding the space on it or anything. But Breath of the Wild is going to be 13.4 gigs.
Okay.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will be 7 gigs. Snipper Clips is 1.6 gigs, so that's a tiny game.
What is Snipper Clips?
Just kind of a small, fun game where you kind of have to put shapes together.
Okay.
I didn't get a whole lot from it, but it looked like a very casual kind of game.
Okay.
Disgaea 5 is 5.92 gigs. Puyo Puyo Tetris is 1.09 gigs. I Am Setsuna is 1.4 gigs. Dragon Quest Hero. Well, let me get to that last.
Dragon Quest has always been a big title.
Yeah. Nobunaga's Ambition is 5 gigs. Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, 32 gigs.
Yeah.
So of course, you're not going to have access to all of that 32 gigs of space because you have to have space for the
Save
operating
file.
system, save files as well.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have about 27 gigs of access.
And then every update is going to eat away at your drive.
Right. So you basically can't get Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 on there without expanding the memory.
But you can do an expansion.
You can. And they've been, I think it's something crazy. Like, it'll basically support SD cards, micro SD cards, mind you, but
Just any standard micro SD card?
micro SD card, any kind it will take. All the way up to, I believe Nintendo has said it'll support all the way up to 2 terabytes, which they haven't even released
Yeah.
one that big yet.
Well, those aren't expensive. Like, micro SD cards aren't bad.
I saw a 200 gig one for, like, I think around 50.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
It's not, considering what you're getting for it. But that kind of raises a question, like, what happens when Skyrim comes out on the Switch and you want to get it digitally? How big is that going to be?
That's a good point. What but you can install it on your SD card, so you don't necessarily need the internal storage space.
Right. Well, I mean, Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, that has to
exactly.
go
Yeah.
on external.
Yeah. Which, if it goes on external, can you take your SD card out and just give it to a friend so that they can have your save states?
I don't think so. How it
Your
works?
game as well, like just basically lend them the SD.
No, I mean, they're probably going to set it up like the Wii, the Wii U, and the 3DS handle it. You basically have to do a system transfer and be connected to the internet so that all the rights of that game transfer over to a different system.
I understand why. It's
Anti-piracy.
Still lame.
Yeah, so all this to say, if you're going to be getting it, this is why it blows my mind that there's some people out there that are so devoted to getting digital games only because, I guess maybe they live in a small apartment and they don't want to develop or devote any space to having a library of games. But I mean, you're talking about a disc / or in this case with the Switch, The cartridges are like even smaller than a penny. Like they're so
Yeah.
ridiculously tiny.
Which means you can lose it a lot easier.
You could eat it.
You could eat it. It was a hoagie, and I was trying to eat, and I was
Next
wanting
thing
to play
I
another
knew-
game.
Next thing I knew, I ate my Bomberman.
My bomb, I ate the bomber man. The bomb. I can't do it. Bomber man. That was more like an L. The bomber man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, and I kind of feel like this is going to, it's going to set the system a little ways back, because so here's how this compares to the Xbox One or the PS4.
Yeah.
You can get an Xbox One S for 500 gigs for $300,
Which I am waiting to do. That's one of my goals.
or PS4. I think
Yeah.
it was on sale for like 250 with like a game bundle.
Yeah.
In some deals, you can find an extra controller that they'll throw in for, less than a Switch, and you'll
Yeah.
get 500 gigs with that version.
But that's like saying you can buy, like when the GameCube came out, you can buy a PS1 for this much money. I mean, it's
But it's not well.
because you're talking about a new piece of technology that they've developed over a period of time, and they need to capitalize on it. They
Right.
can't be as competitive with that because there's still that desire for something new from Nintendo.
Right.
And Nintendo has that great just knack for taking something that's not necessarily as powerful as like its competiters,
But still make it desirable in
Yeah.
so many other ways.
yeah, and the fact that they're beefing up their system, yeah, I understand the SD card, but let's take what's the Switch coming for? What's
The price?
Yeah,
$300.
so $350 will get you 232 gigs.
You can look at it that
basically.
way. Yeah.
So right there, that's a little bit more expensive than the Xbox One, which that Xbox One that is
For $350 gets you 1 terabyte.
yeah. But I mean that Xbox One is basically just like it's the trimmed down version of Xbox that they're releasing to be more affordable.
Well, more affordable, but a bit more capable. It can stream 4K content as well as play 4K Blu-rays.
Okay.
Not even the PS4 Pro does that, and that's a $400 system.
Yeah.
So it's graphically it's more capable. It's got more bells and whistles to
Yeah.
it for the same price. The only thing that the Switch really has going for it at this point is it's also a handheld. You can take it on the go.
Can you play your Xbox on the subway?
No.
Yeah. There you go.
I
What
know
about
it's crazy, and
PS4.
I'm
Can you
kind
play
of-
PS4 on the subway.
I'm kind of curious because I've been thinking about it. I think they've released some comparisons about like how Breath of the Wild. It's weird. Breath of the Wild runs compared to it when it's docked and connected to your TV as opposed to on the handheld system, because when it's doing handheld, the GPU I want to say is like cut in half as far as like how much it's processing.
Okay.
And the difference, like with Breath of the Wild, it's going to run at 900p when connected to your TV, 720p, and all games will run at 720p on handheld mode because that's the resolution of the screen. They did some tests with, like, let's just say you're running around in a grassy field when there's a lot of grass being rendered on screen.
Yeah.
In docked mode, it's choppier. Like, the frame rate takes a hit, whereas when you're in handheld mode, it doesn't. So I'm wondering if it's worth it to bump it up to the 900p. Because the difference between 900p and 720p, that's very negligible,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But yeah, that's kind of just an interesting little tidbit there.
Something like that, though, would that be more of like a software update that would
It could be.
clock it?
It could be,
So-
and I'm interested to see.
Yeah.
I really want to see how the Wii U version and the Switch version run side by side.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting because you're talking about a handheld versus a console. Granted, the console is 4 years old, but still. So, all that to say, if you are planning on building a digital games library, prepare to invest in some serious-sized SD cards.
Yeah. That's true. Which to me you know,
You just kind of expect to do that anyway, like because
I
I had to get a new hard drive for my PS4 because I ran out of space.
and I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like an iPhone costs like $700 for like 32 gigs.
Yeah.
So this is a bargain. I mean, like Nintendo, why don't you join up with a carrier and get us cell coverage on it, and maybe some like a data plan? That would be awesome.
Oof, that didn't work out too well for the Vita. Like I think they had a 3G version with AT&T that no one wanted to buy.
3G.
Yeah.
No one wants anything 3G.
Yeah, and 4G was available at the time, but you couldn't even play online with it. It was like basically just to like download and stream. It was like, why? I've got a phone that does that.
Yeah. But I mean, like, man, if they added 4G data coverage and like, you know, integrated it as a cell phone as well.
And maybe like actually cared about it and like put some games on it, it probably would have been more successful.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Switch.
Oh, okay. I'm
Like
still
if they-
talking about the
yeah.
Vita. But no, that's Wi-Fi only.
Yeah. That would be cool. That
That's-
would be worth $700.
Yeah.